Got a sec? When I was little, we'd get freighters in every Sunday noon. Now they only come but once. Once a month. I love the wind here. Oh, right. Back when we... I was just gonna say, we ought to ask Vic... Life's hard here. Especially for them that don't fit in so well. Mr. Thompson's aiming to take away their power. They'll have no lights to see. Anyhow, thanks for letting me bend your ear. Yeah, huh? You mean about the mission being too clean? I know, but Vicker says the universe is a machine. Real machines have gunked up oil, scratches. The machine Vicker sees is one ain't never been run. It's not for people to live in. It's something on a museum shelf. It just comes off cold to me, is all. Where are we headed?
I've been feeling pretty low these days.
Something got you down?
Nothing.
Any progress on that matter we discussed? Wonderful. This is fantastic. Well worth all the sacrifices I... Wait. What the fuck is this? Is this... French? It's a law-forsaken joke is what it is. French! Ha! Well, yes. But I've spent my life searching for the keys to unlocking the secrets of the... I became so desperate, I even got myself assigned to this plague... Bakonu, the author, had some interesting theories about man's perception of reality that I thought could be... Unfortunately, he was also one of the founders of the Philosophist school of... Philosophism's a false religion that stands in contradiction to almost everything we know to be true. They believe all is chaos, in stark contrast to OSI's belief in the plan. But most of the Philosophist perversion of Bakonu's thoughts came more than a century after his death. Yes, you're right. Such are the workings of the equation. And I've only my own hubris to blame. But that's neither here nor there. What I need to do now is to find a translator, obviously. But to do that, I'll first need to... You have a ship. Perhaps I could make... Free spiritual counseling, someone to watch your back. Not to mention a grown-up in the party.
I'm 28.
Exactly. I'm pretty handy with a tossball stick, or any blunt instrument, really. I'm also a passable gun hand, if it comes to that. Oh, I'm fairly competent at hacking computers as well. Well, understanding computers is, though I admit I took it further than most. And I was quite the 32nd back during my seminary days. Left... Of course. I'm a vicar who is dedicated to his calling. More dedicated than any other you'll find in this colony. But instead, I ended up the vicar in a prison due to ignorance and politics. Then... Most laypeople are not aware of this, but... We've not discovered any new insights into the plan for a long... I had an idea that we should welcome the truth, no matter where we found it. I had the worse idea to share my thoughts with a superior. Fantastic. Let me...
Edgewater's gonna miss you.
Thank you, Ms. Holcomb. I'll be glad for the change of scenery. I shall see you on the ship, Captain.
Wonder if the plague will...
Just keep working. Work fortifies the spirit.
Holds up.
That'd be for me. Wanted to poke around in here.
Sister.
Incoming!
Move along, stranger. We don't want any trouble. I don't know you. Whatever you're looking for, it ain't here. Move along. Answers, huh? You must be one of those... Yeah, that's us. And you can tell Thompson if you're gonna start wandering around my camp. Over in the hothouse, tending crop. Enough with the questions. No offense, but I've got a lot on my mind. You don't know what enough with the questions means? No, I'm sorry. That was unworthy of me. Lady named Zoe went missing some nights ago. It's not like Zoe to go wandering. Figured she might be out scavenging, but that ain't exactly... Can't imagine where she's gone. Vale's a wide place. Appreciate it. Honest. I'll tell you what I can. Vex me. If she told anybody, they ain't telling me. I'd check her room, but I got yelled at for snooping once already. Little ways ago, she was always obsessing over her Well, enough to know we never got on. Zoe and Stefan were close. If anybody knows the workings of her... What is it? I'll tell you what I can. Could be. Dangers aplenty out there. No telling... Marauder gang just moved into the districts a little ways east. Their numbers are growing. What is it?
If you're hungry, there's meat turning on the spit outside. If you're bearing illness, find a place to... Whatever your troubles with Edgewater, leave them at the gates. I have been called that, among other things. Green Thumb, grandmother, the strange old lady who keeps flowers. But yes, Adelaide will do just fine.
Excuse me, Miss McDevitt? Sorry, it's just... You got such pretty trees in here.
Why, thank you. You're Robert's girl, aren't you? Are you staying long? You should try some of my tobaccorn tea. I brew it in an old spittoon. A home for anyone who's ever turned their backs on Edgewater. So, like the spores of the puffball, It is an unpleasant story, dear. But the short of it is that sometimes one wakes up and realizes the place that was once her home for much of her life has... The home in which we spent our lives has left us behind, and so we must move on. No, dear. The garden belongs to us all. The soil around the Vale went sour years ago. But I found a way to sweet. The secret recipe is a little bit of elbow grease, Reed Thompson. You here on behalf of that cold-eyed reptile? Let's hear it. What's Reed? Like everything else that comes out of Edgewater, that peace offering is canned. he would do such a thing. The question is, why would you agree to his plans? Cannery's got a regulator. You want ship parts, you ought to rip him out of the cannery's guts and leave us be. If you're going down to the plant, you should divert power away from Edgewater and toward our end of the grid. Think about it. You'd be liberating an entire town from a lifetime of service to that odious cannery. Seems the sort of thing a hero would do. You've seen that miserable excuse for a town with your own lamps. Hollowed out workers laboring their lives away at the cannery, living off whatever scraps Spacer's Choice throws them. You know that's true, don't you, Ms. Holcomb? You're
He was tired all the time, sure, but he was old, ma'am, and he raised me all by his lonesome.
Look what they did to this child. Lost her family to the company, and still she defends. It's not much of a living. Every single person in that town has sold themselves to Spacer's Choice. The company owns them. Body, blood, and bones. You've been there. You've seen it. All anyone ever does is toil over a cannery. They give their lives for some heartless corporation, and then they're tossed into a Spacer's Choice brand cemetery. So, what do you say? Divert power over to us. Shut down that abominable cannery for good. I trust you will listen. Anything else I can do for you? That's not strange at all, dear. Few of us truly know where we are. The world can seem like a forest, but we must remember that being lost is the first step in... This is the old botanical lab, in Emerald Vale, on Terra 2. By the look on your face, I'm guessing you're... Are you not feeling well? Ought to lay your head down if you're run... Are you talking about an escape pod of some sort? Where did you say you were from? I could do without the mockery. If you don't want to tell me where you're from. Oh dear. I see what's happening. You've been taking Adrena time. That stuff will burn right through. You ought to try some of my purgative tea. I'm listening. I am getting old, you know. These two lamps of mine are not as bright as they once were. Or I might have seen you for what you are. My dear, we are all visitors in a momentary universe. Me and mine are just carrying on as best we can. I can't stop you from conducting your business down at the plant. I just want you to know that if you take our power away, you will have brought an end to our way of life. Not under Reed's watch. He and I would come to blows within a day, and he would never tolerate my tending to a garden. This is my home. It will be my home even if Reed cuts our power. Simple as that. That's because Reed was my boss. I was the cannery's one and only flavor specialist, you see. Remember that limited run of white chocolate saltuna? That was all me. My son worked in that cannery. When the plague started coming, he was one of the first to fall sick. We had a store of medicine locked away, but Reed refused to treat him. Said my boy didn't deserve treatment. Said the medicine would have been wasted on him. So I buried my boy in the cemetery, gathered my belongings, and I could not possibly care less if he does. But you're surely welcome to ask him. I'm listening.
You hungry? We got canid ribs, canid flank, canid snout. Something I can help you with? Fresh off the limb, and that includes... Something I can help you with? You mean Zoe? Yeah, we were pretty close. Not like her to go loping off. Zoe and I were gonna watch the serials, as is our custom. She never turned up. I looked around, but she... You sound like some type of corporate fixer asking all these questions. Zoe was always obsessed with this serial. Masked Marketeer. A scion of Byzantium turns to banditry and teaches his marauder companions the wisdom of free market economics. Shame she up and vanished when she did. I had a surprise lined up for her. Can't say I recall Zoe ever acting strange. Well, except for her habit of writing things down on scrap. She called it journaling, but I think it's just plain odd. The other day, I got my hands on a genuine copy of the latest Masked Marketeer. I was gonna surprise Zoe with... Hey, I got time. I'll help if I can. something I can help you with?
What is it? I'll tell you what I can. What is it?
Okay, keep him quiet. I don't know anybody who ever came out this far.
I'm ready for this. Here I go!
Wow, you crossed them all off, like some sort of heroic accountant running down a list. Teach me your ways. What? You mean Adelaide's little congregation of nature-loving nobodies? I could not possibly be less interested in them. You, on the other hand, you were a sight to behold. If I had half your skills, I'm great at clarifying. No. I insinuated myself into their company, see? I don't know. The vital processes that constitute the... Oh, you mean around these guys? The Marauders wouldn't hurt me. They love me. I may have bartered them a few boxes of a... I got kicked out of Edgewater on account of falling sick with plague. I'd heard some outlaws set up camp in the botanical labs. I decided to throw in with them, seeing as I always wanted. Instead, what do I find? But a bunch of former workers camped out around a greenhouse. I couldn't just go back to the cannery. I've got all the time in Halcyon. Why? Adelaide wants me back on garden duty or something? Thanks, but I doubt that. Nobody in that camp really cared. Wait, you're telling me he's got a copy of the mass market? I'll take my stuff and head on back, I suppose. Grace is gonna be glaring. I'm great.
What is it? We didn't always get along, but I'm glad to know she's safe. What happened, anyway? Zoe joined up with a band of marauders. Zoe. The same Zoe who doesn't know a barrel from a tree. You pretty much did my job for me. Let me know if I can do something for you. I don't...
The control room should be off to the right. I hope we're doing the right thing.
Process.
Here they come! Down they go! Everyone all right?
real. You're not real.
Another day at the cannery.
You think corporate's ever gonna visit?
Something on your mind? Go ahead. Can we not? Talking about...
3 switches. That'll be easy enough. Two more. What'll happen to Miss McDevitt's folk if we send power to the Veil?
No, just leave me alone! You're not real! You're not real!
Mind the steam. You're liable to get scalded.
Nice one. Nice job, bud. Don't mess with it.
Linux searching.
Get ready.
Where'd we go? If we send the power to Miss McDevitt, what happens to the Veil? Blast. I'm not sure what the ride is. All I know is the decision's final.
No, just leave me alone! Go away, Phantom! Get away! You're not real! You're not real! Get away from me, Phantom! Shoot! Scram! You can talk? The Phantom's never talked before. See? See, Higgins? This is why you must always boil your sprat. Clearly, I mistook you for one of the phantoms of my imagination. Chester D. Higgins. The D stands for definitely not insane. I use it as a... Oh, Higgins has been many things over the years. Sprat Wrangler, Saltuna Critic, Aetherwave Personality, Chairman of the Board, Galactic Defender. I've come a long way for someone who started off as a simple engineer right here in this plant. I specialized in automechanicals, drones, sentries, repaired them, maintained. Look, I don't want to fall into any trouble with the mechanicals. If they wise up to our plans, they will come for us with prodding iron. You know, you remind me of myself back when I was an intergalactic. I discovered a flaw. Their hostility levels were hardwired to maximum. There's no changing that, but you could rewrite their targeting protocol so they attack each other instead. Yes, that's exactly it. I see you're also versed in the noble art of There's a behavior control terminal in the other room. It should have options to change how the mechanicals act. Oh, that reminds me. You'll need my passcode to access the behavior control terminal. Here, let me just write it down for you. The tail. Definitely start with the tail. Jimmy'd opened the vending machines. That lasted a good couple of months. Eventually, I had to resort to more unconventional... Mechanicals lost their bolts. Opened fire on anything... I was on cleaning duty at the time. My old boss had me scrubbing pipes when the killing started. So, as usual, I missed out. I specialized... Oh, before. Definitely before. Cysty Pig Tycoonery was the apex of my long and... Mechanicals lost their bolt. You mean, why did the mechanicals go on a murderous rampage? Same reason any of us do, I suppose. The voices told them to do it. I was on cleaning duty at the time. My old boss had me scrubbing... What's eating you? The tail. Forgot what you were gonna...
Once we do this, there's no going back. Excuse me, ma'am. Look, I know you want your power regulator and all, but I just gotta ask you, do you understand what you're about to do? I don't think you should cut off Edgewater's power. I think it would be cruel. I'm sorry. That just sort of came out all at once. Edgewater's hurting. We've been losing workers year after year, and corporate hardly ever sends replacements. There's barely enough Saltuna to fill our bellies anymore. But the town's got some good people in it. Decent, hard-working folk just... Sorry, I didn't mean to babble on like that. I felt like I had to say something. Really? I mean, wow. Nicely done.
What's eating you? The tail. Forgot what you were gonna...
Oh, that's Thomas. He used to follow me around.
That's the thing about growing old. Your eyes start to fail. Elsewise, I would have seen you for the snake that you are, chopped you into pieces and roasted you on a spit. This is all you're doing. Cutting off my power, killing off my garden. Without refrigeration, my food will spoil, and my flock will starve. I want to ask you this in private, away from the eyes of my flock, so they do not see me lose my temper. Tell me, why did you do it? You want my flock wasting their lives in that cannery? Fine. Go and talk to them. Go talk to Grace and Thomas. Look them in the eye and tell them their life here is over, and the only thing... And you tell Reed Thompson that I will never return to Edgewater. I would rather die among my flowers. You offering to cross Reed off, huh? This some sort of twisted reparation for what you've done? Or you just looking for a chance to sow some chaos? Kill Reed if you must, or talk him into leaving if you can. He and I are not sharing. Tell Reed that I can make his people healthy again. I can end their plague. Start a new garden right in the cannery. 3 square meals for every man and woman in Edgewater. Tell him how I've made the Vale bloom again. The soil has whispered its secrets to me, and I alone know how to breathe life back into the... The secret is human corpses. I've been grinding them up in my fertilizer for years. Marauder, worker, don't matter much to me. A human body... Edgewater's cemetery's got corpses aplenty. Enough for a generation's worth of... Look at that.
Everybody keeps staring at me. Whoa.
Are you,
Great, just great. I've been trying to keep stuff running, just like...
Oh gosh, no.
I seen you wandering around here. Well, what I meant was you're... Sorry, I just wasn't sure if you were from town or if you were one of us. Fact is, I've been, well, lying. To everybody here. Camp thing. I'll take all the help I can get. I set my mind to learning the... You ever heard of the Young Spacer's Guide to Mechanical Engineering? Comes in a...
Those are good. My dad kept a copy with him.
I know the old community center kept a copy. Should find another one back in town. I wish I knew. I wagered the town had the full set once upon a time. We're the third. No kidding! Look at that! Building a computing machine out of Spectrum potatoes. I appreciate you going through all that. In fact, I put aside something special. Well, don't keep me in suspense. The geothermal plant? Now that is just incredible! 2 whole data pads? Be still my beating heart. Sure, I'd be glad to take them off your hands. I've been thinking about going back. I get sick thinking about working at the camp. You know something? I think you're right. I could do a lot of good in Edgewater. Maybe even keep a garage of my own with a little... It's just... Adelaide's never gonna forgive me. Not... Adelaide hates Edgewater, hates everything Edgewater stands for, hates what that town does to people. We're the nearest she's got to kin. We go... You know where to find me. What's on your mind? Couple months. This camp's my home. People you see milling about, I owe them my life. Would have died in the wilderness if... We all left the cannery for one reason or another. Me? I mean, I was incompetent. I couldn't even survive on my own. Grace found me, Adelaide took me in.
You weren't incompetent. You just didn't fit the cannery. Not like here. This place had a U-shaped hole and...
You could stay, you know. Here. I'd be happy to... I mean, we could really...
Marauders can't see us in the dark. The matter's been weighing on me. Zoe came back, but I couldn't keep her from slipping out in the first place. I don't see us lasting more than a couple of weeks out here. I'm loath to admit it. Or, listen, we go back to Reed, hat in hand, begging for our old jobs back. Well, Adelaide's not gonna forgive us. Edgewater's not just a town to Adelaide. It's a symbol of everything that's wrong with this colony. A big, heartless machine of metal and gears. We're the closest thing Adelaide's got to a family. Sure, suit yourself. I'll be...
Look at that. What's on your mind?
This is a fine day, friend. Power flows. I trust Adelaide's people have seen their way to reason. Then we are at an impasse. Stewardship over this town has been entrusted to me by Spacer's choice. I am not perfect. I have made my share. Her son got sick with plague a couple years back. Company never gave us enough medication to treat the whole town. So I had to choose, you see. Adelaide's child or someone else's. I have been holding this town together with I am a Spacer's Choice man. My father was a Spacer's Choice man. I don't believe you. Plague's a reality of life. You are disparaging our parent. We are a Spacer's Choice Saltuna cannery. We eat Saltuna. I don't understand. You say Adelaide's growing her own. The soil's gone sour. Company said as much. Our own botanists couldn't grow decent crops for her. You'll excuse me for being skeptical. How exactly is Adelaide? And when you say special fertilizer, you mean what exactly? Adelaide has been using dead bodies in her fertilizer? Come to think of it, that's a stroke of brilliance. What a remarkably efficient solution. Recycling Spacer's Choice property long after it... So Adelaide wants me gone. Trade my life for the life of the town. If I leave town, I'm as good as dead. If I stay, Edgewater will die of attrition. Adelaide has discovered some secret... No, I don't expect you to do any such thing. If Adelaide's found a way to feed her people and cure the plague, my life here is ended. Give me a little time to settle my affairs. A couple months ago, I might have put in for a transfer. It's a big colony. Spacer's Choice has other towns. Now, I couldn't show my face in any of them. No such thing as an honorable resignation. Suppose I could find a place outside the walls, or put in for early retirement. I don't know. I could see myself last. I have always tried to do right by my town. It has never been easy. I do. Adelaide's found a cure for the plague, and she knows how to tend a crop. She's what this town needs. I already told.
Any luck finding one of those manuals? No kidding! Really? Ain't that just ironical? If I'd worked a little longer back at the... That's a complete set! All 3 parts! Aside from you,
I'm glad we could help, Thomas.
I've been saving something for you. Just a... What's on your mind?
Look at that. I never thought I'd see the day that Reed Thompson abandoned his post. Suppose it's time our flock made our way back to Edge. You're vexing to me, you know? Injuring us with one hand, helping... This don't put us on even footing, you understand. But it is a start. I need some time to gather my personal...
One of us want to go see what happened?
Didn't think she'd go back so long as... If Adelaide's going back to Edge...
What? Couple months. I'll...
Never seen the... Bang up work, soldier. You're a credit to your uniform. So this is it. I would reward you with the gratitude of the Resistance, but I'm guessing you want something tactile. So here's a couple...
I'm not allowed in here. Not since the vending machine incident.
Holcomb, got my eye on you, girl. Miss Holcomb ain't allowed in this establishment. Not since that little incident. Ask her if you care.
I won't touch anything while we're in here, Mr. Moreau.
Go right ahead. What, you mean Edgewater? It's, fine and dandy. You are condescending to me, and I do not care for it. I don't get paid for banter. Go right ahead. Other than yourself? Definitely the vicar. Don't get me wrong. He seems... But there's something about him that bothers me. Plague? I don't know anything about a plague. You have got the wrong idea about... Some of us who get sick are liable to exaggerate the condition. Survival of the fittest. It ain't just the law of nature. Medical treatment is commensurate with our value to society. Then the hand of medical science will not grace you with... Listen, you mind if we talk about something else? Music to my ears.
Heard something outside the walls today.
If you're falling sick, I don't want you...
Keep your distance, friend. Sick house is no place for a traveler.
Hey, Miss Parvati. Come for... Lovely to see you about...
Things going all right?
Been keeping him careful. Best to ask her yourself.
My dad's buried here. Silas watches over him when I can't leave the house. Oh.
Something I can... Yeah?
Is this your ship? Oh my stars, she is just so handsome. Does she have... Oh, gosh. Listen to me babbling. When I was in Edgewater, I dreamed... I'm the only decent mechanic Edgewater's got, but... Every time I think of going back, I get this... Oh, it's kind of you to say that. And you're right. I want to ask you something, and you can say no. But... Can I come with you? I could tend to your engine. I know my G-valves for my catalyzers, and I can keep your ship singing. And if you ever need a pair of eyes watching your back, I can do that too. What do you think? Yes! I mean, thanks. You won't regret this, ma'am. Captain. That was a good thing you did, Captain. Help. That's on account of how I never met her. I don't rightly. She was in another division of the Spacer's Choice family. Her contract said any kids she had, expected or not, belonged to her office from the time of conception. It's sensible. Dad just fixed machines. She did some kind of crazy math, high-level stuff. Better to raise me on his time than her. He's just interested in fixing stuff. He always... He never told me a word to that effect. And since he didn't, I didn't have to say nothing about being... You mean why I'm not allowed in the store? There was a kind of a thing. Sure, but folks got long. I've always been good with my hands, right? So I saw a lock on the machine and thought, oh, this must be how they refill it. So I did my thing, and next thing I know, there's a couple hundred bottles of zero-G. It's not funny. Right about then, a bunch of loaders came rolling in the gate, fresh off the Saltuna. And Mr. Thompson was up on the porch making a speech about how everyone would have to volunteer a third shift to get it all canned. Anyhow, you ever seen an auto loader run over a bottle of zero-G? Oh, sure. Sure thing. I think you did.
Well, I certainly am looking forward to flying on a ship named the Unreliable. I'll just head upstairs and claim a room. I could spend out. So, nothing too out of the ordinary. That's what my parents called it. I grew up in a pit of a town, much like Edgewood. I was destined to be a laborer like my parents, but I was infected early. My parents, ironically, they internalized the precepts of scientism like no one I've ever known. They had a pure faith. I envied that. I wanted that peace. I thought if I became a vicar, I could find it. Or at the very least... They thought I was fighting the plan, should have accepted my lot. Some people... The plan is not one rigid path. There are a variety of multitudes contained. Some choices make the path smoother, some rougher. You can even go outside the line. It's like an unbreakable elastic band. It will only stretch so far before it's snapped. Bakonu, the author, had some interesting theories about man. Unfortunately, he was also one of the I've been thinking on that. There's a former infamous philosopher Scott. He's also who told me of the journal's presence in Emerald Vale. The only one I'm aware of. I suppose we could always just ask Ren. A thousand pardons, my good captain. Now, as far as tracking down this scholar, we should start on the Groundbreaker. It's where I'd go if I wanted to get off Terra 2. Great place to pick up a ride to... All I need is access to a data cartridge from the security terminal. Their easily hackable system keeps a registry of all... I'll comb the last 6 months of departure manifests to track the Philosophist's off-world Before I transferred to Edgewater, I had a wealth of time to develop certain, secular... I meditated, led sermons, provided guidance to the inmates as needed, of course. I also played... Thank you,
Captain, I have to... What can I do for you, Captain? Do you know how to install a power regulator? Step 1. Pick up your power regulator. Step 2. Approach. Our engine room is located... What can I do for you, Captain? All systems are operating within I am prepared to bring the unreliable into low-altitude orbit. This should prove an adequate test of our flight. Welcome back, Captain. All systems are now... We have received a communication request from Dr. Phineas Wells.
Aha, there you are. Hale and hearty, and captain of your own ship. I see you're putting the unreliable to good use. Shame about her former captain. Horrible way to die. How are you feeling, by the way? I lost track of you in that cave back there. Experiencing any, unnatural drippage? Perfectly normal side effect of thawing, I assure you. What you saw in Emerald Vale is happening all across the colony. Food shortages, lack of supplies, and basic... The Hope has some of the brightest minds Earth ever sent us. If we can revive the Hope's colonists, they can help us undo the board's mistake. You need to get to Stellar Bay on Monarch. I have contacts there. They'll help me. Help us. Gladys Kelly, lovely woman, runs a cozy little black marketing outfit on the ground. Strictly speaking, Monarch is a moon, terraformed badly, and almost completely lawless. You'll love it. Captains don't fly their own ships, you see. Your navigation terminal handles the, The board's been confiscating nav keys for Stellar Bay, so we must rely on unconventional means of acquisition. Gladys and I have been doing business for years. Her smuggling credentials are unimpeachable. Without a skip drive, good luck. You'll be dead. Look, I admire your optimism, but the sad truth is you're stuck here. You, me, and the rest of this colony. We're all skating precarious. None of us are leaving Halcyon alive, so we may as well make it a better place. Excellent. I'll send her a wireless. Let her know you're coming. By the way, I gave Captain Hawthorne a disguise apparatus of my own design, cutting-edge technology. I call it the holographic shroud. I'm sure it will prove remarkably useful to you. You'll find it in the captain's quarters. Marvelous device. I'm quite proud of myself. The shroud changes the user's appearance to mimic that of a... It has limits. First-generation technology, you see, but promising. Very simply, the holographic shroud uses biometric information contained on standard identity cartridges to... Ha 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 ha! The beauty is they don't expect it. The shroud is the only one of its kind. Activate the disguise, walk past someone. What do they see? A figure dressed like a fellow employee. Don't act odd. They won't focus on you. Only stands up to a casual scrutiny. Use it too long, bound to flicker, blur, something like that. Movement makes it more likely. Best used in moderation. When you see guards in your path, you can maintain your distance. Act normal. No running, no jumping. Don't draw their attention. A change of clothes. What is this? Some old spy serial? What inattentive and brainless guard? The holographic shroud masks not only your clothes, but your face and fingerprints. It modulates your voice. Science, that's how. Excellent. I'll contact you once you've found a way to get... And remember, don't trust the board. They'll try to win you over with promises of wealth and power, but it's a lie. The board's only interested in filling their own pockets. If we don't put a stop to them, they're going to run this colony to the ground.
Transmission ended. If you are ready to depart, Now arriving at Phineas's top secret orbital lab.
Hello? Can you hear me? Does this work? Oh, damn it! Blast, that's loud. I'm just securing my ongoing experiments. And securing myself. Mind the mess. I haven't had a visitor since, in fact, I've never had a visitor.
Aha! I see you found my portable molecular compression device, better known as a shrink ray. Find the target, point, shoot. Your target will shrink down into a manageable size, whereupon you may commence beating them to a pulp. Feel free to try it on a marauder sometime.
The groundbreaker has approved our request for docking, Captain. You're free to disembark.
Can we talk? Hey, Captain. I heard that Groundbreaker's got a real good engineer. I was thinking that maybe I ought to meet her. I don't got much experience fixing actual spaceships. I bet you can't. Thanks, Captain. Did you want to talk about something else? I could probably spend years. What? You won't? Oh.
Just checking your ship.
Smells like grease and unwashed bodies. Just...
That's not the point. This happened to knock down one of my workers.
Customs and inspection, right this... way.
Identification, please. Captain Hawthorne, you said. Let me apologize in advance. I'm about to ruin your day. According to your ship's record, you've been flagged by the board. Your ship will be impounded until such a time as they see fit to lift it.
But we've hardly been out of Edgewater long enough to get in trouble.
Well, isn't this wonderful? The captain's down.
Now, hold on. This isn't the end of the... Not stuck, per se. You could always throw yourself out the airlock. Of course, then you'd find yourself with an exciting... Access to that information is above my pay grade, and I've turned down 3 promotions, so it stays that way. I shouldn't be mentioning it, but what the hell? This here, impounding your ship, it doesn't happen much. The board knows we don't take kindly to their interfering in our operations. If I had to take a guess as to why, you probably riled up the wrong petty board bureaucrat. A man named Udom Bedford. You take the starch out of him? Well, oh, and if you're headed that way, would you mind? Wanda Dorset over in sickbay? Tell her the shipment's not in yet. It's not coming in anytime soon, and if she'd be so obliged to get off my ass about it. Much appreciated. Is there anything else I can help you with? The fence. You'll find her in the rest and go, on your left when you enter the promenade. Make sure you bring an empty belly. He's friendly enough unless you speak ill of the board. Get the sense he doesn't care for Groundbreaker much. Not that he would, being a board man and all. He's our liaison. They can't abide an independent township, especially not one they gotta depend on. We're the first and last stop out of this colony. All their interstellar freighters come through us, and we skim a few bits off the top in manifest processing fees with folks around here will bluster that the board hates our freedom, but really, they know we can stop their out-system shipments anytime we... You sure you didn't just step off one of... There's no working with the board. They don't share. Not bits, people, or resources. Groundbreaker cooperating now would be tantamount to joining their ranks. Sounds like, yeah. But from where I sit, it's all... They got assault cruisers, gunships, and a handful of mining operations. We push them too hard, maybe they decide we'd be better in 10 trillion little pieces. Or they cobble together a new Groundbreaker and put...
The board wouldn't do that.
The board is necessary to provide order to the colony. They believe it's their prerogative to overrun you. But whether you allow that is up to you.
It's a tough line to walk, no doubt about that. But we make do all right. So far, anyway. Yep, Groundbreaker's the only real independent port. Aside from us, there's just tramp freighters and wildcat miners. Seems like every year the board's offices get bigger and their ships take up more of the landing bays. Haven't seen nearly as many tramp crews this year. Sure thing. Most places are on the promenade deck. Big door yonder, straight through. I got a preference for the Lost Hope myself. Talk to Vera. She'll set you right. You need anything else? You let me know. Don't want anyone saying Groundbreaker's not the most hospitable port in the colony. Maybe. Most of the shipping traffic in the system passes through Groundbreaker. Two biggest operations are the board. That is, Halcyon Holdings and Sublight Salvage. But there are independent operators around the promenade deck. Most of those jobs are going to take you off station, though. Are you pulling my leg? Goes like this. Back on Earth, before the crossing, the powers that be were selling off stakes in distant star systems they thought had potential. Yep, seems like it. Groundbreaker was one of the original colony vessels to come over on the crossing, a few years before her sister ship. Once everybody'd been de-thawed and dropped dirt side, the original crew of the Groundbreaker decided they rather liked this. I guess that was the start of our independent spirit. Now, sitting around drinking whiskey and smoking cigars, yeah, probably. Can't say for sure, of course. Doubt I'll ever. Glad to help. Relative to the board holdings? Not really. But there's a few with... They aren't rich, but they aren't likely to look too close at your work history either. They strip the parts from derelict ships and abandoned outposts. There's some that say they make the derelicts and encourage folks to abandon their... Sublight gives me the creeps. I've known folks who went to work for them and just vanished. They're on the promenade run by a woman named Lilia Hagen. I'm only telling you so you know to avoid them. Commandant Sanita might have a couple of folks she needs killed. Bad folks, I mean. Not regular folks. She'll be at the security desk behind me. Chief Junlei might have an errand needs running. She's all tied up trying to fix our heat problem.
No kidding? I'd love to get a look at this old girl's innards. I bet they're real twisty and...
If you're thinking to make a career here, full-time jobs on Groundbreaker tend to be inherited, or go to a fellow crew member's kid. All right. Be seeing you.
This is it. Security. I can check the departures registry to find out which crew I mean... the Scholar shipped in and out with.
I picked up this weird signal the other day. It was coming from